like a currency. Yeah. Is what it is, and then you got a great spirit to get it back, kind of like instant currency.
You all ready?
Yes. Hey, John.
One of y'all want to do the American flag?
That's fine.
The American flag? You want to do the Texas flag?
I'll do that.
Airport Board meeting is going to be called to order on Thursday, November 7th at 5 p.m. Eddie Lowry is going to do the invocation for us. Dustin Newell is going to do our American flag, and Greg Model our Texas flag.
Let's all rise. Dear Heavenly Father, we love you today. God, we ask for your wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Help us, Lord, to know justice, judgment, and equity in everything we do. God, help us, Lord Jesus, to help the city of Cleveland. Give us the wisdom we need for the airport board. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Okay. Remember, green is on your mics. Green is on. Green is off. And no color is on. Just reminding everybody. We kind of went backwards here, so I'll start. Go back to number 1 real quick. To my very far left, your right, is Dustin Newell. To his right is Greg Model. To my right is Eddie Lowry. To his right is our airport director, Dickie Harbor. And to his right is our city council member and mayor pro tem, Julius Buckley, and I am John Williams. Do we have any public comments for number 3? No public comments. 4 is going to be reports and comments from board members. Who wants to start? How about Dustin?
All right.
You good start?
Sure. I don't know if everybody was aware, on October 7th, we had the Young Eagles flight at the airport, and it was a huge success. We had 55 kids show up for it. And, I don't know. Is it? There you go. 55 kids showed up for it, and we actually completed, I think, 66 total, so some little extra at the end. So it was a pretty big deal. That was probably one of the, if you haven't seen the chapter, EA 1698, it's probably one of the best things that's ever happened to the airport in our area. So really trying to push the kids, push the events. We've elected to do another one on December 7th. So Pearl Harbor, we're going to kind of theme it as a Pearl Harbor Day and have that for that. So it'll be another big, we're not going to go as large this time, just because we're in the holidays. But next year we are planning some pretty big ones. So it like I said, it was a good success. It was nice to see, and we had some individuals from other chapters actually show up and said it's one of the most smoothest, best run Young Eagles events they've ever seen. So it was nice.
Greg, you got anything for us?
No, I do not. Thank you.
Mr. Eddie Lowry, what you got, buddy?
I don't have anything, but I would like to ask Dustin. I've got a friend, a kid, that's wanting to learn to fly. Would he be a good idea? As good as it can be.
For like a Young Eagle stuff, yeah, it's a great way to get them started. Any child from 8 to not have reached their 18th birthday is they get a bunch of free stuff with it, and it doesn't have to be a rally. It can be any one of us that are EAA members that actually do the rally. We do personal ones all the time. So yeah, anybody that wants to do one, send them our way. We'll make it happen.
Thank you.
Mr. Buckley.
I still use the system. Our hometown Christmas is in December 7th from 10 to 5, and then we'll have the parade at 6 also. So y'all want to send the kids down to see a light parade when y'all get done with that. we'll have that going on also. That's the only update I got from the city side.
There we go. Of course, this weekend you have the bike ride this weekend. And then you have Cocoa Crawl coming up also. For city functions, the Young Eagles, that was just awesome. I would recommend anybody and everybody to go to that, just to go watch, learn, participate. It was an awesome event. I was out there myself that morning for quite a while, and they even had a couple of planes on static display for people to go look at and ooh and awe and touch and all that good stuff. It's great to see, for sure. I want to thank Public Works. I know I do that quite often, but they don't get a lot of recognition usually. Public Works always gets the short end of the stick, it seems like, and always gets complained about instead of data boys. But they've done a lot better job on making sure our grass is cut and are in and around the FBO out there. They're still in the process of doing the flower beds and all that, but they've definitely been trying to stay up on it a lot better. And I know that they have had a lot to do around the city, for sure. But we appreciate that for what they have done. No doubt. Anything else from anyone? All good? The 5th. Yeah, I may not have said that when I said that, did I? Yeah, no, it's the 5th. The Coca Crawl's the 5th. We have really good participation this year. This is the first year of that. EDC has participated in both the Cocoa Crawl and the ride this weekend. We have got some really good door prizes, and everybody that's participating this weekend is getting a nice bag, and it's pretty neat. And then the Cocoa Crawl, they're giving away, I think, $1,500 for the first prize, and there's like $2,500 total, sponsored by our awesome EDC. We just have a great EDC, by the way. Yeah, especially the president of EDC. So, but yeah, really good city events. I hope, I don't know, I have not spoke to Dustin Newell on the December 7th event. Is the airport going to be involved in that a little bit? Are they?
Well, that's the first I heard of it.
Okay, well, hopefully, just my opinion, and I know the EAA is probably not going to ask for anything, but I hope that the city can help out, get involved. If they need anything from the city or EDC, if you don't know, I'm the president of both boards, so we can probably get something done on that.
Well, I'm sure Larry will probably come talk to you about it. You know, we just preliminary said, like, it's just going to be a lot smaller. We're only going to do, I think, 25 signups. And actually, most of them, I think, are going to be from the high school, is what is kind of the game plan. We're giving them first dibs on it. So,
Okay.
but yeah, and it's only going to be, we're not going to be such an early show, and we'll do like a 9:30 to 12:30, because we were shocked. We actually because we got delayed for 3 hours that morning. Once we started, we finished all 50 in less than 3 hours. We were done by 2:30.
I think we budgeted some to be able to help out, if I'm not mistaken, our airport budget this year. And for people that don't know, October 1st is what starts the new budget. So we're already into the new budget for this fiscal year. So I think we actually budgeted some for that, for those kind of things also. So if there's some way or another the city can be involved in that and help help with some of the funds. Or
Our net cost on it actually only cost us $3 for the whole event.
wow.
You know, I mean, donations, you know, that got chipped in. Our biggest expense was the porta potty, which nobody used. So, Yeah. It was, I think I saw one or two people actually use
I think
it.
it was just location.
Yeah, well, yeah, and, we wanted to be more prepared. Now, lessons learned, so.
Yeah.
But next year on the Young Eagles Day, which is in June, I think we're gonna shoot pretty high and try to do a really large one. So we'll see how that works. But that's in the future.
Cool. Anything else? Questions, concerns, comments? Nothing? Greg?
I have a question. It's not on the agenda for Dickie, just for an update. What point of the agenda would you like for me to bring that up?
Under your next subject, director's report.
Okay.
Yep. Because I'm sure we will all have questions for him in that portion of it. Everybody good with our stuff? Yeah? Number 5, Dickie, director's report.
All right, I'll start off fuel cells. Since we haven't had a couple months, I'll give you all these. August, Avgas, we had 5,586 gallons. Jet A was 276 gallons. For September, Avgas, we sold 5,130 gallons. Jet A, 1,325 gallons. October, Avgas, 5,718 gallons. Jet A, 5,190 gallons. We got the NOTAM manager, completed the training, so now we have the ability to submit all NOTAMs online. And once we do, I've checked it the other day, and it looks pretty much, there's a ton of people that accepted the email to get the automatic notifications. If anybody out there that hasn't received that email, or I think I've got everybody's on the email list now, let me know and I can resend it. The FAA has received our RFP gateway request for the RNAV on runway 34. They're checking the feasibility, and then they're going to update us on it with a projected chart date later. It could be, he said, anywhere from a month to, or 12 to 24 months. Went down to Sugar Land. We completed the TxDOT Black Cat training. So we've got the new system is online. We're one of the test airports. So this is where we'll input all projects. We'll have real-time updates as soon as anybody from TxDOT or the FAA touches it. It'll automatically send us emails. We're starting our next section of land clearing. We've already received all the quotes. We've got one vendor he's approved. He should start here soon. They'll clear the rest of the west side, and once that's done, then we'll get quotes from fencing companies, and we'll start with the fencing there. Anything that's left over on the ramp grant for that, we'll continue pushing on the west side out through the woods all the way back to that pipeline. Hangar Q, we did receive one proposal. I think it's on the city council agenda for this month for them to either accept it or not. The hangar has been vacated. The 7460 has been submitted to the FAA, so that could take about 45 days or just a little bit over before we get it back. I did check it earlier, so they have received it and pulled it in, so it's not in the submitted status anymore. Fuel tank, we did some fixes over the last couple months. We still got some more. We repaired the Lovejoys, so the motor's really quiet now. You're probably wondering if it's even on. The flex line has been fixed. The 3-inch shutoff valve is still en route. So as soon as we get it, that'll be fixed. The switch is en route, and the motor pump for the hose reel on the Jet A is en route. So as soon as those are received, all of that'll be fixed. We also just signed a deal with 1200 Aero, so we're going to be getting that. That is going to be covered by the ramp grant. 1200 Aero is an operations tracker, so that's going to track. It reads the ADS-B, Mode C, Mode S. Every airplane is going to track every landing, every takeoff. It encompasses everything, even movements on the ground we can track if they have a certain, I got to ask them a certain thing on. It records all traffic through the radio. It has a built-in thing, so later on if we do incorporate fees, it'll automatically invoice. So that's going to be real neat. It's actually going to be really good. We can print very detailed graphics on 100% operations at the airport. ALP, so it did go to TxDOT Commission and was approved. So the next step is now is going out for RFQs. We've already had 3 or 4 engineering companies come by. There should be more. I've got an email today from another one that's going to come by, and then they should all submit their things, and then we'll be meeting to select the best qualified company, and then they will get that completed. We went to the Texas Airport Council meeting. They're recommending, so they had a lot of stuff. One of the things that they're recommending in a lot of the airports, or should I say the state and federally funded airports, are starting to go to a annual fee on hangar waiting list. And so in order for people to sign up on the list, it'll pay an annual fee. And then if they don't renew, then they'll just fall off the list, and then they'll have to get back on. So we're going to start looking at that, researching and looking at the other cities and how they're doing that, but that may be coming in the future. The board here, this is November. December is when all seats for all the boards in the city and commissions, they have seats expire. We have 5 seats expiring on this board. I've got applications with me if anybody needs one. And then, because this board's had such gaps where people are just filling in and they've come in late or come like that, to get the board back on its original 2-year rotation where there's 3 and 3 every 2 years, Hugh is the only one that's not required to fill out an application, but him and 2 others that are selected in December by the council will be a 1-year, and then the other 3 will still be a 2-year position. And then that'll put us back on the normal rotation. After that, everything will go to 2 years. That's all I have.
Just a couple of quick things. The simple put on the rotation, we tried doing the research going backwards on the airport board. Juanita, several people have tried doing the research on it, and we just couldn't get back far enough to find what positions were filled by whom, to where we knew which ones ended this December and which ones ended next December. And so, because we just kept going back further and further and just couldn't figure it out, this was the way that the city felt like it'd be easier to do, is just, we knew Hughes with who he replaced, we knew where that one ended. But other than that, we weren't sure. So that's the reason that they did. They're going to take 2, which that will make it 3 Hughes, and then 2 of the other positions for 1-year terms, and then the next 2 will be for 2-year terms. Then you still have your offset, and all the boards in the city are like that. So December 3rd, I believe, is the
December 3rd
deadline
is
for all boards in the city.
Mhm.
So,
So it's on our website, and it's also on our Facebook. You can go to the website and actually fill out a form and hit submit, or you can print it out, sign it, or fill it out, sign it, and email it back to Juanita. Or I've got some here that you can take, fill out, and just drop off at City Hall.
so on that, we all have to fill out new apps if we want to stay on the board. If you don't want to stay on the board, then you just don't have to put a new app. I would ask that the current board members, if y'all don't mind, I'm just asking, but I would ask for any of the current board members, if you do put in an application to stay on the board, if you would please send me a text and just say, hey, I put in my application on the board. And I'd prefer just, if you just sent me a text saying that you put your application in on the board. That way I can go to Juanita and say, hey, Dustin or whoever, sent me this text today. They put their application in. Did you receive it? That way we're not losing applications, misplacing applications, or anything else. Kind of part of my job to do. If you don't mind, just send me a text and say, hey, today I put in my application for the board. If you're, if you're choosing to stay on the board.
I tried to fill all the one out today on just via,
Online?
well, no, Adobe, just download what the email on the Adobe Acrobat, but it won't allow you to select some of the yes/no questions. It really messes it up.
This is why I want you to text me if y'all do, when you do put it in, or however you do.
But then even the fonts, are you really concerned what the fonts look like? Because
No.
the fonts are like big, small, and it just kind of, it's hard to change them all on there.
Something you have to click when you do it, because I had an issue when I had to fill something out and send it, because one of the reviews I had to do, and there's something on the left side we had to click, and then it made let me fill it out and click everything.
All right.
So I don't know if you want to see, just mess with it on that left side. It was on the left side is what I remember, but I don't remember what we had to click.
Okay. Try it again. I was just figuring
And if-
it's just easier to type. My handwriting is terrible, so.
And if not, I will make sure that we have Juanita's card or Dickie's, either one. But if not, worst case scenario, if you want to fill it out and email it, you can email it directly to Juanita or Dickie, either one.
Or, no, they should all go to the city secretary.
Okay,
They should
that'll
all
work.
come to me.
That'll work. Then we'll make sure and get them all to Juanita. And then again, even though when you do that, please just text me and say that you filled it out. Obviously, Julius, we don't have to worry about him filling one out, but because he's stuck with us. Yes. You'll still be here. He's moving away from the mic on that one. The fuel, on fuel sales, do we know how much? I know that American Flyers and ATP have been buying fuel. Do we know?
Yes. Okay, I was gonna go on that on 7, but yeah, ATP and American Flyers are buying gas now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know I've seen them at the pumps a few times. Do we have a way of tracking it, or any idea how much? Not that we really need to know, but.
Number. Other than that, a lot of times people, when they pay, it'll show a card number, but it won't show a name on it.
Yeah, okay.
I get that a lot, even from, people that are based here. I got a lot of their cell phone numbers now to include the lead, but does that mean they're going to be out there every day, all day? Even the other day they had 3 planes in line.
Then I think the only other question I had was, do we have a time frame by chance on our RNAV for 3-4?
So he said so now that they got it, they got to do the feasibility. I think they got to do the flight, and then it'll be 12 to 24 months
Is that
before
what
it
you?
will hit the chart.
That was really what one of my questions was, and thanks for that update. So was your sense of it is that, I know it's not officially approved, but they were open to going through the process? I think the last time, 5 years ago, when I initiated, they weren't even open to it. It was like, no, I don't think you have enough traffic. I mean, it was a lot of pushback on, we're trying to reduce because of costs of maintaining the charts. That was sort of the tilt I was getting from them.
Okay.
What tilt are you getting now? Is very
So now
receptive?
it's Jason Frisch is his name. He is up in the Dallas area. No, he's been extremely helpful. I mean, because I even called him and said, look, man, where do I begin? He's like, man, don't worry, I'll send you the link. I'm going to send you this.
Great.
It's 26 questions, and that's when I got with you on most of those.
Right.
So we answered everything. They got it. I got the email that they received it. I called him up later. He's like, yep, this is what we need to do. And I'm like, can you respond to my email, though, real quick? And he did. So it seems like now they could change, though. But
Right.
he seems very
Positive.
welcoming on it.
Very
Positive
optimistic.
about it.
Okay, that's wonderful news.
And then the other portion, the other leg for the RNAV on 1.6 should hit the chart summer of 25.
Okay, great. One of the things that came to mind when you were talking about that, I think I'm saying it right, 12 arrow
Yes.
for the
12
traffic.
arrow.
Yeah, for the traffic tracking. That's going to provide some really good granular data to
Yes.
support our need for the approaches, how the airport's being used, all part of that justification. So I mean, that's what piqued my ear when you first talked about that.
And you'll see that there is a lot of airports that are using this now, so much so that TxDOT's paying for it.
Okay,
And all the data is automatically uploaded to TxDOT also. So I don't
Yeah.
have to send them anything. It is, they receive it just like we do,
okay.
like we will. And then also that'll help, it'll show the usage of the airport. It'll help us move to regional airport, and then our funding really increases.
So does the tracking system differentiate between IFR operations and VFR? Do you know?
I don't know.
Okay, I was,
But those are good questions that I didn't know to ask. But if you give me a list of those questions,
Okay.
I'll definitely call the guy and ask
and the
him.
reason is the IFR portions justify the approaches. So that was, if that data's there, it would help us, if it later becomes a justification issue with the FAA, you know, and they process it
yeah.
all the way through, now it gets to somebody signing the approval, and they're going, well, I'm not sure there's really enough IFR traffic down there. It'd be nice to go, boom, here's what we got, so,
And
yeah.
and it has to, because there's a weather function on it also. I'm still getting all the functions. All the parts are in, I think he said probably next week or the week after I should have everything. And then we can actually start putting it all together, putting the antenna up on the roof, and then call them, and then get the full walkthrough on everything.
Okay,
So I'm looking forward to that. But from what I've seen in the flyers and looking at it online, it should, but I won't know for sure until I
Right.
either ask them or see it.
well, even if it doesn't, it's still good, but it would be nice if it had that feature. Yeah,
Yes,
right.
I agree, definitely.
Going back to the fuel, what do you attribute, I mean, that's quite a significant increase in sales for Jet A to go from 276 in August to over 5,000. Am I reading that right, or did I hear that
No,
correctly?
No, you're right. It went from,
Yeah, so
Yeah.
is that a one-off, or is the word getting out and people are coming to buy
So-
Jet A now?
So there was an increase in normal Jet A fuel cells. The 1,300 the month prior was our normal. I see that as normal.
Okay.
So that, and then every other month, we either have the railroad company in with their helicopters clipping the lines, so they come by 600 gallons at a pop, usually once a week. This time, we had the lumber guys in town, the lumber helicopters. You know, they come in, hook up the logs and go. So they bought 3,500 from
Okay.
us.
Okay. So that might be, it's probably not a norm, it's just gonna be a
Correct.
peak
For
and
Jet-
valley kind of thing.
Avgas-
Got it.
Now, Avgas is gonna go down because now it's getting dark real early.
Yeah.
Plus, you know, the weather and everything like that. So I think our months will probably go back to like the 3,000, the 3,500, like they were in January, February of beginning of this year.
Yeah.
But the Jet A should stay maybe around the 1,000 or just over mark. And then every other month, we'll either have one of these big spikes until the word does get fully out. So it is getting around because I've had another company call that they want to bring their Learjet in and fuel it up, but they thought we had full service, but we don't. So I don't think they're coming.
Okay. And then I only had one more comment, John, and that was, I'm really glad to hear that ATP and American Flyers are buying fuel. I think that's just the right thing to do. If you're gonna use the facilities, provide some income to the city for that. So I'm glad to hear that. That was it, John, thank you.
you'd think that'd be common sense, but
Yeah, it was
unfortunately, there's no
mainly,
such thing.
We can thank Andy, Jake, and them for sitting down with the lead pilot over there, and you know, and being the convincing, you know, voice. You know, I can tell them everything when they come in, but you know, they really sat down and said, "Hey, look, you know, buy some gas. We're cheaper than Conroe. You know, you're saving money. Buy it." So, and then that's what they're doing.
And that 1,200 Arrow, as he mentioned, actually TxDOT pays for that each year. They've been paying for it for years. We just never took advantage of it in previous years. But obviously, this year, there's a couple of options with that. And after doing the research, I think that 1,200 Arrow is kind of what they decided to go with. But I think, again, I think it's going to be a really big benefit. I know there is some tracking between any kind of flight plan that's filed, whether it's an IFR flight plan or flight following. The way they kind of explained it to me when I spoke to them was some of that's already tracked through the FAA on approaches and through flight plans, but that they do have their own tracking with this also. So I think it's going to work. I think it's like you said. There's no cons to it at all. I think it's going to be all pros for sure.
And I think you're right about the flight plan through the FAA, because if I'm not mistaken on there, I can pull a report to see when the planes leave our airport, where are they flying to the most? Or where are they coming from to our airport?
And I think the only reports you're going to get with that, and I mean, these two should know more than any of us, but is if you have if you're filing a flight plan or getting flight following.
Well, no, it'll be on a discrete code. Anything that's got a discrete code will be tracked.
Okay.
Yep. So. Any other questions on any of this? No. Dustin, Greg? Yep, all good? Consideration and possible action on the following. Number 6 is approving the minutes from August 1st, 2024 for the airport board meeting. Everybody have a chance to look at the minutes? Any concerns, complaints, gripes? That city secretary is no longer here, so it wouldn't do any good anyways. No, I'm joking. Did you do these minutes, or did, oh, you've been doing, oh, no, well, we got someone to complain to if they're wrong then. Juanita, she will take the brunt of it from us.
She's already signed your copy, so it's approved.
Well, I do, yeah, is this a good one to sign for you? Yeah, I can sign that.
She's been doing a great job, too.
Juanita's been doing awesome. I don't know, is this well, so Juanita was our deputy assistant city secretary for quite some time. Alice retired here recently, and Alice is the one that's usually at my board meetings sitting beside me on all these. So now we have Juanita, who has stepped in and just filled some very large shoes and done an awesome job so far. We appreciate it very much, Juanita. Any questions or anything on the minutes?
Make a motion, we approve the meeting minutes for August 1st.
I have a motion by Julius Buckley to approve the minutes for August 1st for the airport board meeting. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second by Eddie Lowry. Any other comments, concerns, questions? I have a motion by Julius Buckley and a second by Eddie Lowry to approve the minutes from August 1st, 2024 for the airport board meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Discussion and possible action on the following. Number 7, outside training traffic. I know that this is a typical hot topic. We have asked for y'all that don't know who Shelly DeZavalis is, but she's the go-to person anywhere around here, probably a lot larger than that. We've asked her to come speak to us. She has graciously agreed. She could not make this meeting. She can make our next meeting. We still have some dates we got to figure out. But what we have done is asked her, I know they're going to know, y'all know who she is. I know y'all know who she is, but she's the one with all the answers, at least when I call her. That's what I tell her. You're the one with all the answers, so I got to call you again. We've asked her to come in and just kind of go over some of this, give us some options. She has done this and been very gracious about answering all my questions. And I know Dickie spoke to her a couple of times himself. She is absolutely awesome, makes herself readily available. She actually runs West Houston Airport, and I can't speak highly enough of her. But so she is, again, graciously agreed to come in, and she just couldn't make today, unfortunately. She tried. And so she's going to come in and answer all of our questions in regards to outside training traffic, the do's, the don'ts, what we can do, can't do, what we can get away with, not get away with, and help us make some more decisions. I have kind of taken that upon myself to call her and get her over here. But, and in the meantime, do we have anything else on outside training traffic? Any questions about her coming over, or anybody have a problem with it or anything?
Just wanted to add some additional comments about Shelley. Shelley's father is Woody Lessicar, who owns West Houston Airport, and so she's basically grown up in a general aviation family and very much exposed to that. In the past, she was the AOPA regional representative, and in that capacity is where I learned to work with, or not learned, I met her and began working with her when I was with the FAA, because she was a representative of general aviation along with the National Business Aircraft Association, NBAA. As we were working through different airspace issues, she was always a very influential and great sounding board representing general aviation to airspace issues and procedures that we were going through. So very much an asset. She would show up with me at meetings at Beaumont, Midland, wherever we were. She had the Bonanza at the time. She flew up there. She's got her doctorate in education. She serves on the board of directors nationally for the EAA. So she's got some deep connections and roots, a lot of experience, and she's just got, as John alluded to, a wonderful personality to be able to build bridges and communicate needs and listen, and so I think she'll be a great asset. So I'm glad, John, that she's coming.
And for lack of better words, my next question is, for the board, is with her specifically, do we want to, our first meeting with her, do we want to have an executive session with her? Or,
I mean, because everything that she's going to say is public knowledge as it is.
okay,
We had a very long discussion. She spoke very highly of you, Greg.
No.
But we had a very long discussion. And it's really good because we actually spoke in Galveston also. And she is very familiar. Because, matter of fact, the first thing she told me was, do not void your grant assurances. And I said, yes. So she knows Gary Loftus, all the team that I work with up there, she knows them all very well. She was very knowledgeable and all that. We spoke for probably about 90 minutes on everything. And she said, yeah, she'd be more than happy to come down here and speak to us.
okay, no, we'll just put her on the agenda then, if y'all are good with that.
Yeah, I think that's that's the whole point of it. Get her ideas and what we can and can't do. I mean, she'll know.
Yep, Greg?
A related question, not to Shelley, but to this topic. You mentioned earlier, somebody did, about Andy and Jake,
Jake.
who had gone to American Flyers and ATP. So was it more than just getting them to buy gas? So I was kind of wondering how that conversation, what the topic of it was, and were they able to make any inroads in increasing the awareness of these flight schools on their traffic impact to our airport? I was wondering if that's why they were there or what that was.
No, I don't think so. I think it was just a topic of, hey, help us out a little bit, get some fuel. I know they still have the policy if there's more than 5 planes, and they won't come in the pattern.
But that's only ATP.
Yeah.
Correct. And I've spoke, of course, as y'all know, with American Flyers and Chenault. And I hate to say it, but it just seems like you speak to them, it helps for a short time, and then, and not them specific, just in general, the flight schools, you speak to them, and it helps for a short time, and then the traffic picks right back up. But
The other thing me and Shelley spoke about is, as everyone knows, there are no more general aviation airports being built. Matter of fact, there's more of them being shut down than there are being built. There's more, the traffic's going to continue to grow, increase. There is no place for them to go. I mean, it's going to get a lot more traffic before. There's private airports being built, but there are no municipal general aviation airport public use being built. So, I mean, it's going to be a problem that's just going to continue to think, and neither one of us had a true answer on how to fix it or where to start, except for just to start talking.
Yeah, I think, as I've said before, I want to support general aviation. I love that there's people interested in learning how to fly. And I think it's really, I personally believe, very important for the economy of our nation to have a strong general aviation presence. So, and that starts with training. So we have to support training. I'm not by any means, but I'd like for there to be a balanced demand on the existing infrastructure airport-wise in our area, that everything isn't just piling up on Cleveland. And I kind of start, we only have that one vantage point. So, it's going to be good to hear the conversation from Shelley so that we can hopefully, or maybe she can, I don't know how that will, the next steps are to facilitate that larger conversation with everybody around the table so that we can share the load, so to speak, around this part of the country or this part of the city.
Well, and I thought that we may invite, and I don't know, we might want to invite Huntsville over here. And we share the problem we are having, Huntsville's having. For whatever reason, Liberty doesn't have this issue. And I say that because I think the distance is all it is. We ourselves in Huntsville are the closest airports to Hooks and Conroe. But more and more of our own pilots, tenants, however you want to call them, including myself, depart from Cleveland and go straight over to Liberty, and it happens quite a bit. I'm usually in the pattern with somebody from Cleveland over at Liberty quite often, and it's I don't think that it's the issue of not being able to stay in our pattern as much as it is not wanting to be staying in our own pattern, if that makes sense. At least, for me, a lot of the times it was. I was talking to one of our pilots at the airport yesterday on the radio, and that's he asked me when I was fixing to leave. They were using 3-4, and I said that I was departing to the southeast, right-hand traffic departure to the southeast, and he said, you're going to go do some touch and goes over at Liberty. And I said, yeah, there were 6 planes in the pattern at our airport. And, yeah, I could have joined the pattern and stayed right there. But, why not, And sure enough, he did too. He left and went over to Liberty also. But I think that Shelley's going to be able to at least guide us in a direction. I think she totally understands what we're going through. And she's going to at least be able to answer the questions that we have for her. I agree with Greg 110%. I think everybody on this board does. At least they're starting to buy fuel now. That was a huge accomplishment because we haven't been able to get them to do that for ever. I say forever, literally. This is the first time we've got them to be able to even buy fuel. I walked out there the other day, and there was 2 American Flyer planes in line getting fuel. I was like, wow, that's awesome, But we still have to have a safe airport, no matter what. So, anything else on the outside traffic? No. Anything else on the entire agenda? Nothing? That makes it nice and short and sweet. Do I got a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second?
Got a motion and a second. Motion by Eddie Lowry and a second by Greg Model to adjourn. All in favor? We are adjourned.